Hi everyone. Today I'm going to improve uh, uh, the app that we developed on the previous the recordings. What we had in the previous recordings, we had a typical sign-in. There may be two cases that we did. One for hard-coded credential, and the other one, the credentials saved on the local database. On the last recordings, we now uh, make another button so that we can access the remote API server, and we download the credential data from there. Actually, we do not download the credential data, but we, the server side, make decision and return to us yes or no. Okay, based upon yes or no, then we can do some of the work here. We have an image view. Last recordings, we didn't use anything of these image views. We only determines whether that guy is okay to come in our system. But on the remote side, you guys already submit the images. Like my case, I posted 10 images, and Justin Victor posted 12, and so on and so forth. So we can use it. There are many images, so we're going to use one image to pick randomly and display here. Okay, when a login user is successfully authenticated. That's what we want to do. One thing that I want to make sure, on the previous recordings, we used this type of JSON data for credential, right? Credential data returns auth and then past yes or user name. But we want to make it simpler. We don't need to do auth because this auth goes to all the list of all the dictionaries, like password and user. So why don't we have only this? Okay, having this type, we can use this download JSON function. Defining one time of this download function, we can use for different purpose, right? So we simply use this MySQL, this format, string: string. We don't need to say one more level auth, okay, to unify this. That is what we need to do. When it comes to the image files, some of the metadata about image files can be downloaded first, should be downloaded first from this sensor to image file only retrieval.php by sending user ID. Login, when user is authenticated, then we send the user, we pick the same user ID to this API server and retrieve a list of images, because one guy probably posted multiple files. Okay, this guy also use the same this download JSON function. Okay, and then randomly choose one specific file, let's say this is file name, then we attach to another URL, because image files is located in separate folder. So we go there and find out the file name. Of course, file name is comes with this metadata. So we go there and then render it on UI image view. So we have to extend the UI image view. Remember that on this UI image view, we already render, display the images if images is available on the local database, right? Image is available on the local database. What if image is in different place, URL? So using URL, we want to download and display on the same UI image views. To do that, we need to extend the capabilities of UI image views. So we have an extension. So UI image view is already defined and provided to us by Xcode. Into that given capabilities of UI image view, I want to add function called downloaded. But I want to do overloading download. The very same functions, the very same function can be defined differently one or more times, 2 or more times. If it's 2 or more times, then there is overloadings, right? So one time we have a URL and content mode, and the other case is a link, and this is much simpler, right? So we're going to use this. Here inside, we also have a URL. This is very similar to, if you look at this, that is very similar to this, right? So without further ado, let's continue to do our work. This is the folder that we stopped last week. What you can reuse is to open Xcode project. So click this, double click, then you will have this. This is the one that we developed the last time. So let's try to see, to recall what we have done last time. So put here, let's say my login name and password. Remember that login name and password that we use this user ID and first name will be our password, right? And then for two-factor authentication, 8987, that I can get here, 8987, and come back here. Oh, by the way, this is an error. Why? Because previously we had auth here, but as I said, not anymore, right? I updated my, the very same API PHP function, but I changed the return formats, simple formats. Accordingly, we have to change it. Therefore, I want to remove that and all the way up here, because I already defined this way. So I want to remove outside that auth colon followed by list of dictionary, right? That I changed it. Let's see how. So changing this, I think, oops, still fail. Oh, here. So we don't need to do this, right? I believe, don't need to do this. So, oh, got that. And 7337. Verify me. Yun is successfully accessed. So we recovered the system to the way that we succeeded the last time, but the last implementation was based upon the previous API server. Now we modified the API server. As I said, to unify, to use this same ones multiple times, right? So let's try to make it this so that not only for this specific URL, but whoever calls this, it calls with the definition of all of this before it calls. So we copy this, no, not copy, cut that out, and before it call this download JSON, I am going to plug it here, and I am going to send this request to JSON. So request. Then I need to accordingly change the definition of here, right? So request, that should be, what's the type of request? Type of request is URL request. That is a request type, right? So copy that URL request and come here. That is a URL request. And also remember that when we define a function in Swift, for each parameter we need to define two names. First name is first parameter is used when that function is called, and I put that underscore. And second parameter is the function. The second parameter is the parameter used here in local variable. So this request is used here in local. When this function is called, if we say something here, then we need to use this, like here with. But if we want to say the underscore, then we do not need to say here. We simply use, like many other cases that we had, right? So with this, I want to see if it still works, right? And 9769, 9769. 9769. Verify me. Still okay. Verified. So that function successfully called. And this function is not anymore for that specific case of a request. So we can call this with multiple different requests. So currently, when we call this, we call with this request. We form here to this URL, we send two parameters, login name and password, right? And we'll call that. Now, if that specific login user and password successfully matched at the remote side database, then we say successfully accessed. Otherwise, then we can say I can copy this and paste here, and we can say that guy is not successfully accessed, but can say not registered or unmatched. Password and login names are not matched. Now, if a login user is successfully authenticated, then what we need to do? We need to download the image and display on that UI image view. How can you download it? As we said, we need to download the images from this, right? Because we already know the user ID, right? I mean, this API uses ID for login name. Actually, the way that we call is very similar to the way that we hear. We need to formulate the request, so we can copy this. When you copy this, you have to be very careful, because this one used in the previous ones. So very carefully to make any confusion to this code, I want to make it clearly this request is not the same as the previous one. This is a new request. This is new post data. And another thing here is this should be changed also, right? This guy should be, let's say, here. I want to get that here, right? This should be that one. And then this API server need ID only, not this guy. This is used for different request. Request 2, post data 2. So this should be request 2, request 2. This should be post data 2. So this is clearly for this metadata request about images that are posted by this specific login user. This else ELS. Okay. Once we made the post request to, then the way that we did it here, so we need to download like here, download the request to, download JSON and request to, and then we need to request to why this guy. And then we need to do some work here. This guy says, we need to put here self. What this guy was confused to was download JSON that is within this download. So this guy think, oh, is this the same download that we defined here? Then self, then that is very on top of these objects. So self, request to. Okay, what do we need to do here? So what we need to do is, because user has, each user might have posted multiple images, then we need to first count how many images retrieved for that specific login user. Okay, so self.mysql result, and then there is a count. So how many of them? And then we can declare the variable count. Okay, that many variables are counted. So my case, I have 10 images. Someone has 12, someone has maybe 6, right? And then I need to randomly choose out of those 10. So, and also this MySQL result is nothing but an array like this, right? So if it is an array, like a list, then it can be accessed by index. So that we need to do index path. Index path equals randomly select dot randomly in from 0 dot less than count. Okay. So between this, the whatever number can be picked up. And for that number, we need to say self MySQL for that specific index path. I want to get the file name. Remember that this guy has for example, Jaeyoon, then there is a file name. When I pick, remember this is a dictionary, right? So dictionary can be accessed by key. If we say file name, in what index? If it is the first index, then we put 0. Second index, we already put the second, whatever the index, right? Then we know where that is. And if we put the file name, then this specific file will be picked up, right? So that specific index, I want to have a file name. If you do not want to, then I can simply copy this, right? File and uppercase N and name. So file name extracted, and then I want to declare a file, declare a variable, file name equals file name. This is a file name, and then remember that once we have a file name, then we can download it. The specific, if we know the file name, then we can download it from here, right? So back here, we need to still say file name. I mean URL strings. Variable strings equals the specific URL. The specific URL, and then plus file name. Then this is the location folder. Into that folder I put specific file name. Okay. Then I need to display on this UI image view, but UI image view right now does not have that capabilities. So we need to extend. So I'm going to, you simply use it, you simply copy and use it, right? You don't need to code this. So this extension definition, I'll post this. So you simply use it. Okay. This is extension of the capabilities, new capabilities to this UI image. Then you can download the data from URL. That's what we want to do. So this guy says, I want to put this, specify that. And then back here again, all the way up. Where there is a UI image view, that box, image view box, the variable we call that. So IMB login. So I can simply copy and paste somewhere here. Yeah. I'm gonna put this. Of course, I need to say self. When I do this, I am image view login dot. Then, because we already extended the download, that is this. That came up here, right? Very intelligently. So we click this there, and simply we put here the URL, which is we defined it here, URL string. Okay. All right, so let's see. Let me go ahead and run. Probably this is not yet done, but we need to see how much we $81.99. $81.99. Verify. Oh, we got that, right? Very good. Got here, right? If we put, for example, Jae-yoon, and then password is still John. If we put login, which is to report to the local database, then this image will be differently, right? So login and go to second factor and come back here with the different images. So 8199. Yeah, different images. But if I do Yoon 8199, probably it's a randomly choose, right? I'm not sure which image will be rendered. Some images may not be rendered because the image type is not really, yeah, this is a different issue, right? Image formats, some image formats may not be rendered on this UI image views. It's not our, well, yeah, eventually you may need to enhance it, but right now we don't need to verify this. Yeah, different images comes. See if we have. time randomly different. You know, to find out what the file name appears, this may be yet not rendered. We do not know, right? So I want to put here the image name. In order to do that, we need to come back here and main. From the library, label, extend all the way to left and right. And I want to put it center and color maybe system gray, and the size of font I'll make it smaller, and I do not want to say label, only if there is, for example, the other button we don't have file name. Only when we go to the remote access, then we may have file name to be downloaded. So we in that case we can display it. In another case we don't need to. Only the reason that I want to display is whether the file really received. Some cases simply loaded without file name, then no file name displayed, right? Okay, so that is done, and now I need to connect this to my code. To do that, I need to bring here view controller and back here the same ones, and all the way somewhere. I want to put this is image. I want to connect into here. So this is it. Hold down control and connect here. I want to put that label file name. Enter. This is image and this is file name. And yeah, this LB file name, into that LB file name, I need to display where are we? A request, and then I want to close this so that I can see wider. Okay, this is image, right? So I want to put here self LB file name dot text. Into it I want to put file name, file nm, which is this, right? So let me go ahead and run. Run 3779 verify me. Oh, there's a file name but not rendered, right? Yeah, the other one is a different file names. All right, this is yeah, a great improvement of our access control. This is not techniques that we used is not just access control. We used a lot, right? To use local database and to download multiple different databases from a remote side. One database for authentication, the other database from the image files and metadata about images. Yeah, those things practiced here today. with this, I think you guys have a big muscle now. Hope you can use this for your project. Thank you very much.